What's up? We are live here, Cheesehead TV, coming to you on the YouTube channel. It's late on a Tuesday afternoon. It feels like a Monday. I've thought it was Monday about 100 times today, but it's Tuesday because we were off yesterday because of the holiday. Hello, everyone. All 8 of you joining me here live on the Cheesehead TV YouTube channel. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your family. We need more subscribers on this damn channel. Not that it's not lovely speaking with all of you each and every time I'm on here. Michael, go Pack. What's up? Chris, yes. R.I.P. to Bart Starr. I mean, I actually tried to do a tribute video, Sunday afternoon, and I was too emotional. I kept not breaking down, but I kept crying. It was such a bridge, and I think Corey kind of captured it on his Twitter feed on Sunday when he was talking about how hearing about Bart really made him think about his grandfathers. And all I could think about was my grandma and the last lunch we ever had together. Her speaking about the Ice Bowl and Bart Starr. And I just kept thinking about meeting Bart a couple of times. One time was when I was in high school and I got a scholarship that was it was through choir, and I had to do a solo, and I won this scholarship. It was me and I think 2 other boys. We won a certain dollar amount. We got to do a dinner with this group, and Bart Starr was there, and Mel Kanoki was there. If you guys remember Mel, he was featured in the NFL ad. When he had been to all these Packer games throughout history, had missed like 1 or 2 maybe in his lifetime. He was like 86, 87 years old when he shot the commercial. You ended with I feel the power. And Mel was there, Bart was there. That was the first time I met him. And it was just this connection to an era, a bygone age. And I think you saw a lot of the outpouring Sunday and Monday. Obviously, I think most people were touching on what an incredible human being Bart was, and he certainly was that. I think I tried to highlight a little bit, in what little I could, especially on Twitter, how underappreciated he was and is as a player, as a quarterback. And it's funny because people always say, oh, they were a run-first team. He had Vince Lombardi as his coach. He was surrounded by Hall of Famers. People need to go and actually watch his tape. And I know I say that about everything, but it's true. The tape tells the tale. And if you actually go back and watch Bart Starr's game, that man was an assassin. Just watch the last drive in the Ice Bowl. Everyone remembers the sneak, of course. But what few people ever mention is that final drive. He went 5 for 5 in the worst conditions possible. I mean, you talk about overcoming. You talk about willing your team to win. You talk about all the intangibles. And that's the thing. People kind of discount his game. But I'm telling you, man, he is one of the most underrated players in the history of the NFL. And it's funny because when you talk to people about their top 10 all-time quarterbacks, and you see it all the time in modern media, all the major outlets, whenever they do some kind of top 10 quarterback, greatest quarterbacks of all time, Bart is rarely mentioned these days. And I think that is a high crime. But that's just me. Steven bringing us back to the present day, asking, why did the Packers sign a wide receiver? Steven, because they believe in the guys they have in the building. Adams and Allison, if Allison's fully healthy, I think he'll have a big year. MVS, the ceiling, sky's the limit for that kid. EQ showed, a whole hell of a lot of promise. And then you've got Touchdown Jesus and Kumara. I think there's plenty to work with there. And I think it's also a tacit admission that McCarthy's offense had gotten very stale, and the disconnect between McCarthy and his quarterback was a big problem when it came to offensive production and really offensive efficiency. And it's a big stamp of approval and or vote of confidence for what they think Matt LaFleur will be capable of, and just how much better he's not only going to get Aaron Rodgers playing, but the entire offense operating. I mean, we'll see. but that is clearly the determination that Brian Gutekunst made. Do you think, is Lowry the realistic starter at defensive end? I think he's much more of a depth guy. I think you'll see what they lined up at in OTAs. Now Daniels was out, but they had Adams at nose and Kenny Clark at one end and Lowry at the other. I think Daniels will probably take the place of Lowry, but we'll see. It's very early. Maybe Lowry works into a rotation where he is a starter sometimes. You never know. And that's the other thing. With so much sub being played in the league nowadays, you never really know, who's going to get the call. Maybe they come out and on first down on the first play of the game, and they're in a two-man line. Those lines are really blurred. I can't wait to watch Amos and Savage get nasty together. Derek, I agree. Obviously, it's all potential at this point, and it's all on paper. It doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot until they put the pads on and start popping a little bit in the summer and into the regular season. But, man, the potential is there for that to be a really formidable duo. And I, like you, am very excited to see it, no doubt. EQ will have a breakout year. I hope so. I hope they all do. I mean, you go back and you watch what EQ did last year. He did a very good job of progressing as the season went on. If he made a mistake, it was pretty clear that he wasn't going to make that mistake again. And, that's half the battle, is learning from those initial kind of stumbles when you're a rookie and continuing to develop and build on your successes. And if you can carry that over from year one to year two, look out, because that guy is a specimen. And, I know a lot of people thought he might go a little earlier in the draft than he ended up. And you can see why, because the talent is certainly there. Looking back at it now with our free agency moves and draft selections, would you still give up the capital to get Khalil Mack? Absolutely, Andrew. I would. That's just me, which doesn't mean a hill of beans. Do I think Gutekunst would? Yeah, probably. I mean, Mack's a special player. For all the stuff they've done and all the people they've acquired, I have real difficulty imagining any of them being as good a player and or difference maker as Khalil Mack is. Now, maybe Gary ends up being that player. Maybe Savage ends up being a field tilter, etc. You don't know. But sitting here right now, yes, I would absolutely make that call, because with a guy like Mack on one side and Rodgers on the other, those are field tilters. Those are difference makers, and it's very rare they come free and are available to be acquired. So, I mean, I like the squad that they've put together. Don't get me wrong, but Khalil Mack would still be hard to turn down. I know it's early, but do you think Davis will make the roster, or will the Packers find another solution? Julia, I think the odds are long, given how Gutekunst has clearly thrown open the competition for returner, and whoever ends up getting that spot will most likely have to be a major contributor on all their special teams. And while I thought Davis played well the limited amount of times that we saw him on the field last year, but just both as a returner and on teams, there's going to be some healthy competition in camp. And I wouldn't be surprised if he makes it. I won't be surprised if he gets cut. It's really going to be up to him, mostly being able to stay on the football field, because that's been the real bugaboo there. Is Kevin King even that good when he's healthy? Yes. Yes, he is. Just look at the defense as a whole, how it performs when King's out on the field. It's night and day. Night and day. Which draft choice likely goes to the practice squad? Andrew, is way too early. Ask me again during camp. Once the pads are on, we're hitting and we're seeing the hell's going on out there. Who is QB number 2 right now, Josh? That would be Kaiser. Your friend and mine. But hey, a lot of offseason left. Thoughts on the possible NFL lockout article? NFLPA searching for leverage or something else? Tyler, that a 1,000,000,000% feels like a leverage leak, trying to tell the NFL, oh, we're going to be ready. We're going to be ready to sit out a year, which they've, not been able to do since '83. And that it wasn't even a full year. But, yeah, most of that is saber rattling. And I don't pay too much. I don't put too much stock in any of it until we get closer to the deadline, the drop dead date. 2020 is the final year, and we'll see what the landscape is like leading into that offseason. But right now, I don't put much stock in any of that. Would it surprise you if Jay Sternberger outplayed Graham into the tight end 1 spot? Yes, that would surprise me greatly. I think he's got a ton of talent, but the jump from college to the pros is a big one, especially at tight end. Tight ends traditionally in the NFL have a steep learning curve and a steep adjustment. And as uninspiring, I guess is the word I'd use, as uninspiring as Graham's play was at times last year, he's still a vet pro. He'll be out there week 1. I'd be absolutely shocked if he got leapfrogged. Did you watch the Tony Mandrich 30 for 30, Jesse? I did. If so, how did you feel at the time he was drafted? When he was drafted, I remember thinking we got the best player in the draft. And I think most Packer fans, if they're being honest with you, at that time, leading up to the draft, he was this cannot miss prospect. That's what he had been painted out to be. And everyone I knew, all my friends, I remember talking to my dad about it, talking about it at family functions, etc. We all thought we got this complete gift. Like this was going to be the cornerstone. And then, of course, that all fell apart. Will 2020 be an uncapped year? It will not be, actually. I actually talked to Eric Winston about this at the Combine a couple years ago, 2 years ago. Unlike the last during the lockout, when they did have an uncapped year, that will not be occurring this time around. Does Jimmy Graham have anything left in the tank? He had a rough year last year. Michael, I think he's got a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't think he's got a lot, though. Do you have any red flags on the squad heading into the vacation? Dan, not that I know of, but we'll see. Who the hell is Mel Kiper anyway? Nice, Andrew. Let's get to the real questions. Will the Packers end zone text be fully painted? Someone asked me, was that you? Somebody asked me that via Instagram. Yes. Last year they had the lines to commemorate the 100th anniversary, the 100-year anniversary of the Packers. But this year they should be back to the regular scheduled program of having Packers in Green Bay. Do we keep 4 tight ends, Christopher? Looking into my crystal ball, I would say unlikely, but you never know. And I know that doesn't bode well for Bob Tonyan or Mercedes Lewis. I think those are the 2 that are probably on the bubble. I think Graham and Sternberger are probably not locked in, but they have a good bet of sticking around. Maybe they keep 3, maybe they keep 4. A lot of that will have to be determined in camp. And sometimes injuries take care of that for you, right? But it's going to, and some of it will also depend on what are numbers at other places, who's contributing on special teams. All those things is a big puzzle you got to put together. Could they keep 4? Sure. Do I think that'll happen? I think it's unlikely, but we'll see. Will we use Lewis more? Does LaFleur's offense use more tight ends? I think it uses a mixture of personnel a bit more, as kind of McCarthy used to. I don't know if they use the tight end more in any specific way, either as a blocker or as a receiver. But I do hope LaFleur utilizes the actual skill set of the players rather than trying to fit them into the scheme where they are completely ill-equipped. Last year would be a perfect example where Mike had Lewis barely playing, and then when he did, it seemed to misuse him. He had Lance Kendricks as a blocking back. I just hope LaFleur leans into his players' strengths. Do you think we keep a fullback this year, Brett? I think the chances are good. Maybe he's not even on the roster yet, though. We'll see. Nags, do I need a parking pass for Lot 1 for the great tailgate time? Well, Duncan, you can go park anywhere you want and then just walk over to Lot 1. That's what I do. I don't know I know you have to have a parking pass to park there. I don't know about how the hell you end up getting it or what have you. I always usually park at Bankies and then walk over. Why hasn't Jay signed yet? We don't know. Could be just quibbling about some language. Maybe it's a medical thing. Who knows? But I'm not worried about it until we get to the start of camp. If he's not signed then we can start to worry about it. Nice. Will LaFleur host an annual dodgeball tournament? If so, will he lead the Purple Cobras to victory? Jesse, to be determined, but I hope so. What do you think of Menenga so far? I don't think much of anything. We haven't really had much of an opportunity to watch his work. I'm interested to see what he does at camp. I can't handle the fact that he said I'm not a kicking guru, which is a direct quote from Ron Zook. So that's disconcerting, to say the least. But yeah, we'll see. You know, a lot of this is what the differences are in the practice style, schedule, how much of an emphasis gets put on special teams. That comes from the head coach. So we got a lot to play out there. Mike Smith is officially my favorite coach. Holy cow, he is exciting. Spencer, I just liked how pumped up he was and how like forcefully he went to bat for Rashawn Gary and pushing back on some of the negative press and or reaction to that selection. I love that. And I've never met him. I've spoken with people who've worked with him, and I can't wait to get to Green Bay to talk to the guy, because from that performance at the podium the other day, man, I'm with you. He is on top of my list now. When does training camp start? They report on the 24th. I think the shareholders meeting is the 25th, and I think the first practice is the 26th. I think that's right. But it's that week, that final full week of July. 24th, 25th, 26th, around that time. Do I think Alexander is all-pro caliber? Whew. Well, okay. Does he have the potential to be an all-pro? Absolutely. No question. Was he all-pro last year? No chance. But he was a rookie, and you hope to see progression and development, and that's what I suspect we will see. Now, is he going to be an all-pro eventually? A lot of that is up to him, how hard he wants to work at it. But the potential, the ceiling is definitely there. No question. Is Canada a go? I believe it is, Craig. I don't know if they announced it officially, but I was pretty sure I saw it reported that the Raiders preseason game will be in Canada. Now that's there's a lot of contracts still to be signed, et cetera, et cetera. So it's not a completely done deal, but I think Canada is a go. Do you think 12 will play a full preseason game? Oh, no chance he plays a full game. But I think he was asked about this at his locker last week about playing more in the preseason. And, of course, he's not happy, but he knows he's going to have to. I think there's zero doubt that he's going to have to log a few more snaps in the preseason this summer. Now, what that looks like, only LaFleur and Rodgers will know for sure. But there's no chance he plays a full game. Was I a Jerky Boys fan? Who wasn't? Come on. When does Packer transplants come back? Josh, that's an excellent question. Probably whenever Banky decides he likes football again. No, I'm kidding. We'll see. To be as transparent as I can be, we are speaking with, meaning Corey and I / GZ TV, are speaking with a couple of outside entities, which I cannot name yet, that we may be partnering with this fall. And until those situations get resolved, I don't really have a schedule for GZ TV for the offseason and or the fall. But as soon as I know, and as soon as those things get done, you guys will be the first to know, I promise. But transplants will return at some point. That I can tell you. Can Mike Smith do every post-game interview? That would be great. Do the Bucs win Game 5 if Rodgers chugs the whole beer? No. Would you rather all green or all yellow for a color rush uni? Ooh, I'd love all yellow. I think that'd be hot. Craig, thank you for the promotion and motion there, buddy. I need me some lot of ball game swag. Andrew, keep your eyes on the website. T-shirt will be going up very, very soon. Aaron, bury the hatchet with Vic. Invite him to a podcast. Hey, here's a news flash. I don't have to bury anything. I'm not the one who's upset with him. He's the one who's upset with Cheesehead TV. Tell him to bury something. I'm fine with the dude. Cheesehead TV and McGinn merging. Oh my God. Could you imagine? That'd be hilarious. Okay, can we at least be assured of the online platform? Yes, it will be available online, whatever we do. We live online. Of course it'll be online. It may be other places as well, though. We'll see. I like the all-white uniform. Yeah, I thought they looked good. Grossi game. Yeah, that's coming. Grossi and his Madden and the beer chugging. It all happened. Probably after the minicamp, but it is on its way. Love your content and respect your opinions, but all yellow is wrong. Well, that's just like your opinion, man. Driver or Jordy? Woo! You're asking me to choose between my kids next. I'm going to go with Driver, but only because I love his story. From being, homeless in Houston, sleeping in a van, to a 7th-round draft pick, to all-time leading Packers wide receiver in history. Love Jordy, love what he brought to the table. He was amazing, but give me Drive. Who came up with the name Cheesehead TV? You're not on TV. We are if you're watching on Smart TV. Put on your YouTube app on your Smart TV. Boom! Cheesehead TV. Corey came up with it when we first started. I was blogging, and Corey said we should start a website and call it Cheesehead TV. I said, cool. Can we bring back the 60s uniforms? God, I'd love that. That'd be great. They never will, though. Not looking like any competition for Crosby. Unless they cut that dude that they picked up on waivers. Yeah, he's got there's another leg in camp. How often will the new offense use trick plays? I mean, let me get on the phone real quick to LaFleur. I don't know. Well, we'll find out. That's kind of the crazy thing about having this coach with very little blueprint / kind of, background to draw from as a play caller. We got 1 year in Tennessee with not an incredibly talented cast to work with. So I don't know what his tendencies are. That's what's going to be so weird about this year is like after 13 years, you and I could, pretty much guess what McCarthy was going to call in a lot of situations. Now we got a guy who's a veritable blank slate. I don't know. We'll discover it together. It'll be fun. Can Bears fans buy you a beer? Mr. Inglewood 77, let me tell you something. Any human being who wants to buy me a beverage is more than welcome to do so. I have no qualms about taking a peace offering, if you will, from across state lines. Just Venmo me, Aaron Nagler. Venmo, Aaron Nagler. Buy me all the beer you want. I'm always for it. Do you remember where you were for Magic Man's instant replay game? Of course. Yeah. I was sitting cross-legged on the floor in front of my dad, who was in his lazy boy big chair Sunday at the Nagler house. Will LaFleur have a goal line play where Rodgers throws to an edge rusher in a crucial game situation? Hey, man, I'm sure that slant play to Peppers worked really well in practice. That's all I can say. How much does a beer cost on Venmo? Whatever you want. Oh, just send me 50 cents if you want. And I'll go get quarter tappers down in Brilliant. It's all good. You pounded down that beer for the Bakhtiari challenge. Well done. Michael, thank you. I'd like to say, I saw a lot of people kind of pushing back on how long it took for me to down that beer. And I will point out that was a full pint. None of this 3/4 half full solo cup nonsense I saw going along the internet this weekend. Just to defend my honor there a little bit. I've never had Spotted Cow beer. Is it good? Does the Pope wear a funny hat? Yes, it's very, very good. Some people will tell you it's a little buttery for their taste. It's a little thick, but I love it. I like it a lot. Would you be more excited for Rodgers / passing game getting back to top form or finally having a top run game? Dan, a run game, 1,000,000,000%. And I know it's a passing league, and people, they're going to throw the ball around the yard. You got to yards per attempt have to go up, and they want to be high efficiency, etc. But all of that comes and flows out of a effective running game in this offense. And I keep saying it. People keep telling me what kind of offense I want and or expect to see. What I want is what LaFleur was part of in Atlanta during Kyle Shanahan's final year as offensive coordinator for the Falcons. That offense, that's what I want. And all of that comes off that zone stretch running game. That it's all predicated off that action. And that goes back to Shanahan's dad. The boot action for the quarterback, the high-low, all off that zone read. I love that offense, and I hope we see that blueprint. If you could wear any Packer jersey in history, who do you choose? Bart Starr. Man, that one ain't tough. Alex. Is Newcastle not cool anymore? Yeah, it's totally cool. If you come up to Winnipeg game, I'll buy you 20 beers next. That's what I'm talking about. Got to get myself up to Winnipeg now. I'd like to see the return of screen pass brilliance. Oh, Jeff, wouldn't we all? It's so funny, though, how they were killer at running the screen under Holmgren and Sherman. And everyone who covers the league just started thinking in their head, oh, they're a great screen team. They're a great screen team. And then most of the national people didn't notice that McCarthy's teams weren't great screen teams. But every national game, whether it's Collinsworth or whoever, the Packers are a great screen team. No, they haven't been a great screen team in 10 years. So I'm with you. I would love for that to be true again. All right, I'm going to have to jump. Thank you so much for all the questions. Sorry if I couldn't get to yours, but I'll be back tomorrow. Packers Daily will make its triumphant return after the holiday. Thanks so much. Like, subscribe, as the man said. Join us on Patreon. $5 a month supports everything we do and gets you exclusive access to my podcast, Nagler's Never Right. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great night.